Well, hi, and it's a good evening from all of us here in Singapore. And thank you for joining us from wherever you are in the world. And it's just wonderful that thanks to technology, we are able to at least be, while we may be socially very distant, we can be story very connected, which is just fabulous. And as Sheila was saying, we have a very large number of people already, 66 already logged on, and I suspect more will be joining us, because I think this topic, stories for children, is something that is very close to all of our hearts, probably, as a topic. So I was absolutely inundated with people who wanted to tell, and I feel very sorry that I've had to disappoint so many people by saying that we couldn't fit them in. It is particularly challenging, I think, when we're saying stories for children, because normally we would do, I'm sure we would use a lot of interactive elements. And I was just talking with Nupur before we began the session, that because there are so many of us who are in the room, and not just on one screen, but we're on at least 3 screens at the moment, that's going to make it very difficult to incorporate that element of the performance or the sharing. But let's see how we go. So Nupur, it's really good to have you with us again. This is not your first time, is it, telling stories at a swap?
No, it's not. It's the second time.
Very good, very good.
Yeah, we're telling stories for children. The last time it was more of a general session.
Tell people where you are and a little bit about yourself before you go into your story.
Okay, so I am Nupur and I'm a storyteller from India. And a little bit about myself. So, you know, when Roger wrote in the mail that we have just under 1 minute to introduce ourselves, I thought, let me just make the most of it in this 1 minute. So I'll just quickly take you all back to my childhood. So when I was growing up, you know, as a child, I was fascinated with food. I was very curious about food. So when my parents sent me to college, I chose food and nutrition. So I did my post-graduation in food and nutrition, and I became like a big word, I became a nutritionist. And I started guiding people on healthy eating, telling them what to eat, what not to eat, and how to stay healthy and fit. But then when I grew older, I, felt passionate about telling stories. I grew fascinated with stories, and I discovered that actually stories are also a way of nourishing people. So that's all I have been doing. I have been trying to nourish people's soul and their mind through my stories. And I hope that the story that I share with you all today leaves all of you nourished and energized. So I'm keeping a tab on my time. It's less than 1 minute, Aja.
Very good, very good. Okay.
All right. Okay, so here is the first story of the swap. It's a string story. So I cannot hear you. You all are muted, but feel free to join me in the chants, in the actions, okay? And enjoy yourselves. So there was once a farmer, and she grew vegetables in her garden. And one day, when she woke up, she found an enormous, a giant turnip in her garden. Well, her eyes lit up. She was so excited, and she grabbed the turnip and she tried to pull it out. She tried and she tried, but the turnip stayed put. She tried to pull it out. She tried to pull it out. The turnip stayed put. The turnip stayed put. Uh-oh, this turnip is so stubborn. Let me go and ask Pa Farmer to help me. So Ma Farmer went inside and got Pa Farmer to help her. Pa Farmer grabbed Ma Farmer, and Ma Farmer grabbed the turnip, and they both tried to pull it out. They tried to pull it out. I want all of you to join me. Come on, wherever you are, let's do it together. They tried to pull it out. They tried to pull it out. But the turnip stayed put. The turnip stayed put. It did not budge. Uh-oh, this turnip is so stubborn. let me go and ask the little boy to help us. So he went inside the house and got the little boy to help them. The little boy came and he grabbed Pa Farmer grabbed Ma Farmer grabbed the turnip, and they tried to pull it out. They tried to pull it out. The turnip stayed put. The turnip stayed put. Oh, Daddy, this turnip is so stubborn. Maybe we can go and call a little sister to help us. So that's exactly what the little boy did. He ran inside the house and got the little sister to help them. And what did she do? Well, she grabbed the little boy, her brother. The brother grabbed the father. Father grabbed Ma Farmer grabbed the turnip, and they tried to pull it out. They tried to pull it out. The turnip stayed put. The turnip stayed put. The turnip is so stubborn. Mommy, the turnip is so stubborn. Well, they all were a little upset. But just then came their dog. Yes, their pet dog Tommy came wagging his tail. He seemed to be happy helping them. So what did he do? Tommy grabbed the little girl. The little girl grabbed the brother grabbed Pa Farmer grabbed Ma Farmer grabbed the turnip, and they tried to pull it out. They tried to pull it out. The turnip stayed put. The turnip stayed put. Well, it was a hot day. They were getting tired. But just then, they heard a squeaky voice. Hello, everybody. Can I help you? And when they looked around, it was a mouse who had appeared out of nowhere. And Ma Farmer was only too happy to have more help. So she told the mouse to go and stand behind the dog. And that little mouse, the tiny mouse, grabbed the dog or grabbed the little girl. The little girl grabbed her brother. The brother grabbed Pa Farmer grabbed Ma Farmer, and Ma Farmer grabbed the turnip, and they tried to pull it out. They tried to pull it out. And just then, just at that moment, the turnip started coming out. Yes, little by little, little by little, the turnip was out. That enormous turnip. Do you see how big it is? The enormous turnip was finally out. They all screamed with joy. And Ma Farmer once again grabbed the turnip and she took it in the kitchen. She peeled it. And what did she do with it? Well, watch it out. Ma Farmer made a bowl of turnip soup for the entire family. So let's have the turnip soup. Let's try to stay healthy. 1, 2, 3, there we go. So that was the story of the enormous turnip. Thank you so much for listening to me. Thank you. Over to you, Roger.
Wow, very nice. Very, very nice. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, such fun. I'm sure I wasn't the only one that when you did the magic and you pulled the turnip out from the ground and it all just kind of disappeared. I'm sure there were a lot of people kind of like, huh? So would you be able to give us instructions on how we do that? Otherwise, so that we could actually see if we can do that ourselves to do that.
All right.
So,
I can do that. I
yeah?
can send a small instructional video.
Oh, okay, that would be great if you could do that, and then we could send the link out.
Yeah, but it's actually very easy. Just one twist of the finger and you have it. Roger knows it, I know.
Yeah, people always say that, you know, string, oh, it's so simple, really. When I just end up kind of getting completely...
See,
like
if you have played with a string as a child, it will really come easily to you. And you know, like most of us have played with strings.
Yeah. So obviously that's where I missed out, I'm afraid. I didn't get to play with string as a child. So thank you very much. And I thought that was, yes, as you say, very healthy that we have our turnip soup. So I think that was a very good appetizer for what is coming. Melanie, I'm trying to, excellent. And we've managed to get you on video, which is brilliant. Okay. So welcome, Melanie. It's been a long time
Yes.
to see you. So this is good.
Yes.
How are things with you? Where are you?
I'm good.
Yeah.
We're good in the Philippines. Hello, everyone. Hello, storytellers. Hi. Good evening. Okay, just call me Melai. Okay.
Hi, Melanie.
Yes. Yeah.
So, and which part of the Philippines are you in?
I'm from Manila.
Oh, okay, very good, very good. You want to say a little bit about yourself and then go into your story?
Yes. I'm a librarian from the National Library of the Philippines.
Ah.
And I'm a storyteller and also a puppeteer like you, Sir Roger. You're a puppeteer and I'm also a puppeteer. And I will tell a story about our, we call it folk tales in our country. This
Wonderful.
is the famous, yes, one of the folk tales. This is the famous by our national heroes. He wrote the Jose Rizal. He wrote the story.
Excellent.
So, good evening, everyone. Kindly put your hands up and shake it to the left, to the right, down, up, and clap your hands without sound. Very good. And shout without sound. Okay, very good. I want all of you to be focused on my story, so I just first introduced like that. Okay, so as a warm-up. Okay, good evening, and I have a story. Who among you knows the turtle? Wow, yes, Miss Sheila, what is the sound of a turtle? All right. How about the monkey? Have you heard the sound of a monkey? Can you give me the sound of the monkey? Oh, very good. I like it. Okay, so that is my story about the turtle and the monkey. Can I show it? The picture? You show it? We call it the turtle in Filipino, pagong. Can you say it? Pagong. Very good. And in Filipino, the monkey is matching. What is that? Matching. Yes, matching. Yes. And this is storied by Dr. Jose Rizal. Okay, I will start the story. One day, Pagong, the turtle, Pagong and Matching were walking by the river. Said the Matching, the monkey. And then the Pagong or the turtle said also like this. She's very slowly, right? Unlike the Matching. Can you do that? Can you follow me? Very good. When Matching saw a floating banana tree, look, he said, the Matching. Look at that, Pagong, he said. He pointed at the banana tree. Have you seen a banana tree? All right. And then the Pagong said, oh, what? She's very slowly in what? The sounds, right? And then Matchings laugh over loud. You do not see? Not only are you slow, you are also blind, said the Matching. And the Pagong said, I am pointing at that banana tree. Oh, I see, said the Pagong. Why don't we get it? Said the monkey. Have you seen the monkey and the turtle? Rah. And next, when they got the banana tree, they divided it into two. Wait, said the Matching. What if we divided it two? I should be first to choose. I will choose And then the pagong said, why? Why you should go first? Because I am smaller than you? Said the pagong. Then the maching said, that cannot be. I saw it first. So I will get the first pick, said the machine. And they divided into two. And as you can see the picture, you see the picture? Yeah, this is the banana tree, the pagong or the turtle, and the maching, the monkey. And then maching got the part with leaves, like this. I will get the part of leaves, he said the maching. And the pagong said, all right, I will get the roots, he said. And the pagong planted into the river. He planted, la, 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 la. And he planted, while maching, he planted into the woods, like this. Who among you knows who will become a tree? The part of roots with pagong or with maching, the leaves? Who among you to answer? Answer. Oh, maybe later. Let's see. Then they took care of their leaves. They took care and they watered them every day and put a fertilizer. La, 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 la. Ooh. And after a few days, maching plants died. OMG. You see, it's died. Oh, the leaves withered and the trunk decayed. Maching felt very sad. He said, and meanwhile, pagong plants slowly grew and grew and he grew bigger until it bore a fruit like this. As you can see, the trees. All right, and it grew bigger, and then pagong felt very happy. Oh, he said. Then maching was sad. As you can see, maching is sad. Oh, what will happen next? Oh, pagong, pagong, he said to pagong. All right, I have a lot of fruits, so we will divide it into two again. And then the maching said, really? So I will let me climb the tree for you? Said the maching. And said the pagong, all right, you may climb the tree. And he climbed the tree. And at the top of the tree, he eat what? What is this? What kind of fruit is this? A banana. And he eat. And then the pagong said, hey, maching, can you please give me some fruits? And then the maching, he didn't listen. And he didn't listen. Oh my God. And then, hey, maching, give me some, please, shouted pagong. Maching laughed out loud. No, 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 no. And even the feelings I wouldn't give you, said the maching, if they were delicious. And while pagong was angry, he said, while maching kept on eating up on the tree, he will go down with a thorns. Ouch, 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 ouch. There are many thorns. Every part maching touch had thorns. And said the pagong to maching. He said, and then the maching sat on the colorful, you see, maching sat on the coconut shell to remove all the thorns from his body. Then suddenly, something but his tail. Ouch! The tail was cut by Pagong. You see, Pagong is... While he lifted the coconut shell, he saw the Pagong. Ouch, 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 ouch. Then Maching caught the Pagong. Because of that have done to me, I will cut into small pieces. Then Pagong said, that's good. There will be more of me, and we'll certainly have more fun together. Said the Pagong. It's that so? Said the Maching. Oh, I know. I just cook you. I will cook you until you die. He said the Maching. Then the Pagong said, that's even better. I will turn red and more attractive like this. Said the Pagong. He thinks again what he will be punished of them. And oh no! You see, the Maching, he will throw the Pagong into the river so you can drown, said the Maching. What do you think? If Pagong will die on the river or not? Tell me. Let's see. And then said the Pagong, oh, please don't throw me into the river. Pagong pleaded, I will drown. And in a while, Maching ignored Pagong's pleas. He immediately threw the faithful Pagong into the river. Woo! But Pagong hit the water and he broke into peals of laughter. Maching, how slow-minded you are. Did you know that I live in water? Maching just scratched his head in confusion. And even the clever Maching can be fooled, said Pagong. And that's the end of my story entitled The Maching and the Pagong. The end. Thank you so much. I hope you like it, the folk tales. One of the folk tales of the Philippines.
I haven't heard that story before, Melanie. I mean, I know variations of the last part of the story where the turtle is clever and outwits somebody and manages to escape in that way.
Right.
But good. Yeah. I'm sure your book sharing sessions at the library must be very popular. Great fun.
Yes.
Thank you very much
so
indeed.
much. Thank you.
For those of you who are members of Feast, you will know that we do have a young storyteller category, but actually that is for 16 to 30-year-olds, and much that I'm sure Yvonne would like to be considered as a teenager. She's not quite that old or anywhere near it, really. But I thought because we are sharing stories for children, and Yvonne has been very, very active with us here in Singapore and telling stories, quite a seasoned performer. I thought this would be a wonderful chance for her to make her debut. So Yvonne, have you managed to sort out your computer? Yes.
Yeah.
Very good. I'm sorry to hear that your camera wasn't working, but that crisis is averted. Good. So how are you doing?
I'm fine.
Very good. Okay.
Hi everyone, I'm Yvonne and I'm 12 years old. I'm from Singapore and I've been telling tall tales since I was very short. The very first 398.2 6 years ago. And my story is called Kekeko.
Okay. Great intro. Off you go.
This is a story about Siti, a young orphan girl who lived in a poor village in Indonesia. Siti didn't have any mother or father, and she didn't go to school. Many kids think that not going to school is great, but not Siti. Siti didn't go to school because every day she had to work in the rice fields, planting rice, pulling out weeds, and generally doing all the work that the adults didn't want to do. One day, on her way home from work, she heard a pitiful chirping sound. Kekeko, Kekeko, Kekeko. She looked left, she looked right, but she didn't know where the sound was coming from. Kekeko, Kekeko, Kekeko. Drawn by the sound, she found a little bird with a broken wing hiding under a leaf. Kekeko, Kekeko, Kekeko. Carefully, she carried it home and nursed it back to health. Kekeko, Kekeko, Kekeko. That was the sound that the little bird made. So what do you think she called it? Yes, Kekeko. One day after work, she said to Kekeko, "Oh, Kekeko, I'm so hungry. I wish I could eat those earthworms I saved for you from the fields." Kekeko looked her straight in the eye and said, "Kekeko, Kekeko, Kekeko, find me a basket to sleep in tonight. Then you will wake to a tasty sight." "Kekeko, you can talk? Can you repeat what you just said?" Siti said in a daze. "Kekeko, Kekeko, Kekeko, find me a basket to sleep in tonight. Then you will wake to a tasty sight." Still in a daze, Siti brought out her only basket, a small one with lots of holes, and put Kekeko carefully in it. Then she went to sleep, dreaming of the egg that Kekeko might lay for her. The next morning, when she woke up, she smelled a delicious smell. She looked over to where Kekeko was standing, and next to Kekeko was the basket, filled with delicious nasi lemak, warm, fluffy coconut rice, fried fish, ikan bilis, and of course, extra chili. She gobbled it down hungrily and went to work with a full belly and a big smile. That night, Kekeko talked to Siti again. "Kekeko, Kekeko, Kekeko, find me a basket to sleep in tonight. Then you will wake to a tasty sight." This time, Siti borrowed an even bigger basket from her neighbor with no holes and put Kekeko in it. Then she went to sleep. When she woke up, the basket was filled with misoto, Siti's favorite, just like how her mom used to cook for her when she was younger. She had so much misoto that she even shared it with her neighbor. They both gobbled down the warm, spicy soup and the long yellow noodles and went to work with full bellies and big smiles. Night after night, Siti put Kekeko in the basket, and day after day, she got new dishes and went to work with a big belly and a big smile. On Monday, she had pizza. On Tuesday, ice cream. And on Wednesday, pancakes. She had so much food that she was glad to share it with her neighbors. And they all went to work with full bellies and big smiles. Soon she had so much food that she even set up a stall. It served many dishes, but of course, the speciality was misoto. Her stall was called Siti Super Sedap Soto, and people would queue up from miles around just to have her misoto every morning. Word even reached her greedy uncle who lived in the next village. This Siti, 8-year-old orphan girl, and can set up such a successful misoto business. How can this be? I better go and find out. So her greedy uncle set off to the village. "Oh, Siti, do you remember me? I am your pakcik, your mother's older brother. I heard of your famous misoto store, and I had to come and try. Siti could barely remember him, but not wanting to be rude, she gave him a big, hot, steaming bowl of misoto. Shook, sedap, just like your mother used to make. Did you learn the recipe from her? Oh no, Pakcik, my bird lays it for me. Your bird? Yes, my bird, Kekeko. I put her in the basket at night, and the next morning, she'll lay misoto for me, or any food I want. Really? You're so lucky. My family and I were starving, and you have so much extra food here, so I was wondering if I could borrow Kekeko for 1 or 2 days. And before she could reply, he had run off with Kekeko tucked under his arm. What could Siti do? She would never catch up. But he said he would bring Kekeko back in 1 or 2 days, right? After 3 days, there was still no sign of Kekeko. So on the 4th day, she went to her uncle's house. Oh, it's you, Siti. About time. What do you take me for? A fool? How dare you lie to me? I told everyone in my village that I would just put the bird in the basket at night and then it would lay food for me. I put it in night after night and nothing happened except for non-stop chirping. Kekeko, Kekeko, Kekeko. So I decided to teach your bird a lesson. I fried it for my breakfast. And not even that yummy, too many bones. Poor Siti. Carefully, she scooped up the bones and walked home, crying all the way. When she got back home, she carefully buried the bones in her garden and cried herself to sleep. The next morning, when she woke up, she heard a faint sound. Kekeko, Kekeko, Kekeko. Was it her little friend? Had it all just been a bad dream? She rushed out to the back garden, and where Kekeko's grave had been, stood a little tree with broad leafy branches. And hanging on those branches were ruby rings, diamond necklaces, golden bracelets. Siti had never seen so many riches in her life. She would never be poor again. But best of all, when the wind blew through the leaves in the tree, she heard the faint sound of Kekeko, Kekeko, Kekeko. The end.
Wow.
How lovely.
Wow. That was just super, Yvonne. And sometime you must have a look at what's on the chat, because people have been saying lots of wonderful things about your telling. And what I particularly amused me as you were telling the story, I think it was Parvati wrote to say, "Oh, she's making me hungry," describing the nasi lemak and the misoto. And then I looked over and I saw that Nupur's daughter is tucking in, and now Nupur as well the mummy is stealing the daughter's food because it's dinner time, right? Yeah, it's shocking. So yeah, excellent. And I think for all of us, it's an object lesson. You saw how Yvonne was totally telling the story to us, really fixed on the camera. Her relationship with us through that was just so natural and, as I say, focused all the way through. So well done. That was really entertaining. And I think justifiably, people have said they really like the way that you switched between the different characters. And certainly because some of us had the pleasure of seeing Yvonne try this story on Tuesday, we had our own storyline swap or meeting earlier this week. And it's great to see how you've taken the feedback that people gave you there, Yvonne, and how you've incorporated that into the telling of your story. And it worked beautifully. Well done. Thank you very much. Thank you. Next, it's Nandita. Okay, who I'm meeting, I think, for the first time today. Yes. Good to see you. And where are you, Nandita?
I am from India.
Yes, but that's
I am from
I am from Bangalore in India, south of India.
Bangalore. And
Yes.
but were you at the conference?
Oh, no, I wasn't
No,
there.
you missed the conference. Oh
I
my
did.
goodness
I
me.
missed it.
You might have to wait a couple of years before we return. No, we had a wonderful.
Yes, I have sent in my registration though. I'm hoping.
Yes, well, you have a very strong storytelling community there in Bangalore. And
Yes,
Beast
yes.
was really happy to be your guests for our conference last November.
That's
So
great.
tell
Yes,
us a little about yourself. Are you a working
I'm a
storyteller?
storyteller. Yes, I am a storyteller. And currently in this lockdown, I have partnered with one of my storytelling friends, one friend of mine. We are a little bit of like-minded storytellers. So what we are doing is, we are doing some online storytelling sessions for children. So,
Wonderful.
yes, thankfully we've completed 5 weeks successfully. And this is our 6th week running full with 2 batches of kids.
Yeah.
And we're having a great time actually engaging them in this lockdown.
Yeah, sure. So you said you were going to tell the story bilingually, is that correct?
Yes,
I
yes.
think
So
that's wonderful.
little bit of history about myself. I am a Tamilian. I mean, I belong to Tamil Nadu in South India, but I was raised in Mumbai, the commercial capital of India. So I was exposed to a lot of languages right from my childhood, and I've taken a lot of liking to languages, and I speak 6 languages here. And
Wow.
today I am going to tell you a story. It's a Panchatantra story. Panchatantra are the animal stories with morals for children. So I thought it will be apt to choose one of those today, being dedicated to children. And the only thing different that I'm doing is, in Tamil, there is an old song. It's an old movie song about this story. The story is about a fox and a crow. And there is an old Tamil movie song around this. So what I have done is, I am going to sing the song to you. But with that, I have framed the story in an English song. So I'm going to sing the Tamil song, a couplet of the Tamil song, followed by an English couplet, so that all of you can understand what I'm saying.
Perfect.
And what I know most of you are muted, but I would like it if you can tap along with me. The rhythm goes this way: 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Yes, if we could keep that going, I'll start. Papa, Papa, kadakelu, Kaka nariyum kadakelu. Oh dear child, hear my story of a fox and a crow on a tree. ஊருக்கு வெளியில கடை இருக்கு, கடையில வெங்காயம் வடை இருக்கு. There was a shop out of the village which sold tea with vadas on a plate. கடையில வடைய திருடிக்கிச்சாம், காக்கா மரத்துல குந்திக்கிச்சாம். Swoop came the crow and took the vada, sat on the tree feeling gaga gaga. காக்கா மூக்குல வடை இருக்கு, குள்ள நரியும் பாத்திக்கிச்சாம். Look, there's a crow with a vada in its beak, said the fox with a loud shriek. நைசா வடைய வாங்கிடுவேன், நரியொரு தந்திரம் பண்ணிக்கிச்சாம். Have to get the vada from the crow, thought the fox with a curled up bro. காக்கா பாட்டு பாட சொல்லி குள்ள நரியும் கேட்டுக்கிச்சாம். Sing, 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 oh crow, for me, your voice is full of melody. வாய திறந்து காக்கா பாட வடையும் கீழே விழுந்துக்கிச்சாம். The proud crow cawed, "Kaka" loud, and plop fell the vada on the ground. விழுந்ததும் நரியும் கவ்விக்கிச்சாம், வாயில போட்டு தின்னுக்கிச்சாம். The fox got the vada in its teeth, and the crow was left with nothing to eat. So this was the story about a fox and a crow, and they were both eating a vada. A vada is a donut kind of a savory in India. It looks like a donut, but it's a savory in India. And the crow somehow steals the vada, that is the savory, from a shop, and the fox ends up stealing it back from the crow. So the message we give out is, do not cheat anybody. You are bound to get cheated. So children really enjoy this part, and I thought I should share it with you. I hope you all liked it.
Yes, absolutely. And I just admire the way that you can switch so effortlessly backwards and forwards between the two languages. Of course, those of us in Feast, we know that story because actually it's in our very first collection of Asian folk tales, which was rather unimaginatively called A Feast of Stories, because our theme was food. And that was one of the stories that was there. And the story behind the story is that our artist, who was not from India, of course, didn't know what a vada looked like. And vade. And when he drew it, we said, well, it's a bit like a donut. And he drew it with a big hole. But a vade actually has a quite small hole in the middle, doesn't it?
It's a smaller hole, yes.
Go away and redraw it.
I also use this craft with them. This is the fox and the crow here.
Ah, very nice. But surely you need to have a vade as well, you know?
Yes, I do. My bad. I think somebody ate it off.
Yeah, I think it was probably Nupur, actually. She probably stuck around and took that. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. So you could have made us really hungry, actually. We're grateful that you didn't introduce that there, because otherwise we'd have all been kind of champing at the bit.
Thank you.
Lovely, lovely. Yeah, we like that one. Very good. Thank you very much indeed. And now we are crossing to, well, staying in Singapore, actually, because I'm really pleased to have somebody else making their debut. We've got a lot of people, actually, making their debut on a feast swap this evening, because we're going to welcome Alice Bianchi-Clark. Hi, Alice, how are you?
Hello, lovely to see you all. So my name is Alice, and I am Italian originally, but I moved around quite a bit, and then I guess settled here. I've been here 8 years, can you believe it? And I started telling stories because I met Roger, and I'd never really heard a story without a book before meeting him. And he took a chance on me, and I told at his first festival, 398.2. And I'm glad to continue to perform there on an annual basis. I also like a lot of literary tales and fairy tales, and I like music, so I try to combine a few, combine that with my stories, but I've never told on video, and it can be a little daunting. So.
Well, don't feel daunted. You're amongst friends here, so that's good. So what's the story you have for us today?
Fairy tale, Rapunzel.
Off you go.
A grim story. Once upon a time, there was a baker and his wife, and what they wanted more than anything in the world was a child. But they waited for months, for years. Finally, after many, many years, the baker's wife was pregnant. But as she was pregnant, she started to develop cravings. And craving is when you really, really, really want something. And she really wanted strawberries. But it was winter. And in those days, strawberries only grew in the summer. You couldn't go to the supermarket or anything like that. And in the winter, there were only potatoes and broccoli and onions. There were no strawberries. Now, from her window, though, she could look in her neighbour's garden. And in her neighbour's garden, oh, it was an enchanted garden. For in that garden, there were no broccoli or potatoes or onions. No, no, no. There were all sorts of wonderful produce, turnips. There were also bananas that we've had in our previous stories, and tomatoes and green beans and peppers and zucchinis, and of course, strawberries. Now, when she told her husband, the baker was a little puzzled. I mean, how could he go into somebody else's garden and just steal some strawberries? But, well, perhaps she wouldn't mind if he only took a few. So that evening, he went into the garden. Tiptoe, tiptoe, tiptoe. Tiptoe, tiptoe, tiptoe. And then plick, 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 plick. And he picked just a few strawberries and he popped them in his pocket. When the neighbor came out, "How dare you steal my strawberries? You shall pay for this." Oh, anything. They're for my wife, and she's pregnant. Pregnant, you say? A baby on its way, ha ha! Well, help yourself to my garden. Take anything you like, but I shall come for that baby, ha 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 ha! And so it was, when the baby was born, and what a beautiful baby it was. The neighbor came to take it away. Now, many days passed, and weeks, and months, and years. And one day, through the forest came a prince, trotting on his horse. Cloppity, 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 clop. A cloppity, 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 clop. But he heard a voice. And at last I see the light, and it's like the fog has lifted. And at last I see the light, and it's like the sky is new. What beautiful, beautiful music! Where could it be coming from? And he looked this way, he looked that way, but there were trees all around, and just on one far corner, a very tall tower. Very tall at all, very tall. But it had no doors, only one window. But the sound still came, and so every day he would go and listen in the forest. Now one day, as he was listening to the beautiful music, he noticed a lady with a peaked black hat and a black dress come up to the tower and shout, "Let down your hair, my Rapunzel, let down your hair!" And just then, a beautiful tress came down, tumbling down the tower. And the witch started to climb up and up and up and up to the very, very top. And one day, he waited for the witch to leave the tower, and then he too came up to the tower, and he said, "Let down your hair, my Rapunzel, let down your hair." But nothing happened. "Let down your hair, my Rapunzel, let down your hair." But still nothing happened. So then he thought he might mimic the witch, and he said, "Let down your hair." And all at once, the beautiful tress came tumbling down. and he too started to climb. And when he reached the top of the tower, Rapunzel said, "Oh, but you're not the witch. Oh, yes, I know, but please don't be scared. Please come sit with me so that we may talk a while. For you see, although he was a prince, and princes love to talk about themselves quite a lot, this prince had also learned how to listen. And so they sat down quietly, and he said to Rapunzel, he said, oh, it must be so difficult being locked away. Oh, yes, said Rapunzel, and it must be so difficult not to see any friends. Oh, yes, and it must be so difficult to only see your family members. It must be so lonely. And she said, oh, yes, and every day he came to see his friend. He came to chat with her and tell her about all the things outside of the tower. But one day, the witch noticed him climb down, and that evening she came back to the tower and she snipped Rapunzel's hair off with scissors. And she banished Rapunzel into the woods. And then she waited for the prince. And she held and she waited for him to call for the hair, and she waited for him to climb. And then, as he reached the very top, she let him go. Ah! And he fell into a thorn bush, and in that thorn bush, all the prickles, they hurt his eyes, and he was blinded. He could no longer see. And so he wandered in the woods until he heard a familiar voice. And at last I see the light, and it's like the fog has lifted. And at last I see the light, and it's like the sky is new. And indeed it was Rapunzel. And when she saw him and heard of his story, she was so sad, she moved, and she cried bitter tears. And he said, oh, well, you will never want to be with me now that I'm blind. And she said, why do you say that? There are so many people in the world who can see because they have eyes, but they do not see with their heart. Of course, I will always stay with you. And so they wandered together in the woods, and by luck, they met a man who was picking strawberries because his wife had had a craving for strawberries, and it was summer, so there were wild ones in the forest. And when they met, it was clear that the baker was reunited with Rapunzel, and of course he invited the prince too back to his home. And they celebrated with a cake covered in, yes, strawberries.
Wow, 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 wow. Beautiful, Alice, beautiful. And you again also must look at the chat afterwards, because people have been singing your praises, singing about your singing, but also the use of the puppets. Somebody was asking, where did you get your puppets from?
Oh, yes, so basically I was lucky to go to Tasmania on holiday, before lockdown obviously, and actually this story of course resonated with me because Rapunzel is locked in a tower. I forgot to say that, but that's why I picked it for this particular time. It's basically, I can post it on the chat.
Yes, okay, that would be great if you would share that. That's
yes.
wonderful.
This is the first time I've managed to use it because they're very, very small. I don't know if you can see, but they're quite titchy. So it's a little bit difficult if you've got, 60 people or so.
Yeah.
To use them.
All the better to see them with on digital. Yeah. Again, whenever one's traveling, isn't it? You always need to keep your eyes open for things that you can use in your storytelling. It drives my wife absolutely crazy because I'm always looking for stuff and finding
And
things.
my husband.
Yeah. So you must go back and say to him, look, darling, I bought these things, but I did actually use them. Okay, that sometimes they have to sit in a drawer for a long time, don't they? And yes, I hadn't thought about it. For those, if you don't know Alice, she lives on like the 37th floor. They give you oxygen when you arrive. She really is in a tower here in high-rise Singapore. I didn't want Yvonne to be on her own as a young person telling a story today. And so one of the wonderful contacts that we've made through our story swaps is with Alla in Moscow, and she introduced us to her student, Michael, who is there with us, and he has a story which you actually made up yourself. Is that correct, Michael?
Oh, let me introduce myself again. My name is Michael and I'm from Moscow, Russia.
Yes.
I'm 11 years old and I'm in grade 5.
So, are you ready with your story?
Yes, I'm ready. I'm ready with my story, and I heard that story from my green friend. He had heard it from his dad. His dad had heard it from his dad, and so on. This story took place 1 million years ago. It comes from a distant country where the sun was burning, the ground was covered with wild green jungles, and the rivers were dark, deep, and terribly cold. So, here's my friend. Hello, boys and girls. I want to tell you the story. It's story of my race. No. I heard that story many times, so I can't tell it much better than you. So now, calm down and have a rest, please. And now, here
Hi, Michael.
he grew a wonderful orchard with yummy, smelly, and juicy fruit. But wild animals and birds also liked to eat this fruit, so they spoiled Old Man's garden very much. So an idea came to the man's old head. He decided to make his new ugly animal to protect his garden. He worked hard many days and many nights. At daytime he worked only with hammer, and at night he worked only with saw. And once the woodwork was ready, it had long jaws with a lot of sharp teeth to grab other animals. It had short paws to creep invisibly to the victim, and it had long, thick tail to knock other animals on the ground. And its ugly body was covered with rough, hard scales, so not even a lion could kill him. So the man proudly put his new garden in the middle of an orchard. But when wild animals and birds came to eat fruit and tree bark, they saw this ugly monster, and they were quite shocked and quite angry. So they shouted, "Look, the man has made a new king for us. We prefer Lion the King to this ugly beast." So angry animals threw a statue in the water of a black river with long green weeds. Suddenly, woodwork became green. It started to move, to wave its tail, to paddle its paws, and then it opened its jaws, cracked through the woods. So everyone who lived there called this creature crocodile. The crocodile was too lazy to protect Old Man's garden. And he hated everyone in jungles. He hated fish, he hated birds, he hated a man. But he hated everyone except himself. And soon he became a dark lord of that river. So this is the end of that story. Did I tell the story right, my friend? Yes, you told everything very close to the truth. Well done. Thank you, my friend. And that is the real end of that story.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. And you don't get any, when often as a storyteller, Michael,
it's a nice story.
With critics. And so to get approval from a crocodile that you've done a good job, I think that says a lot. And again, I should share with people that Michael shared the story with me a few days ago, and we talked about it. And I just love the details. Somebody has written here, Michael, in the chat to say how they can really visualize the crocodile as you were describing him. I thought you'd added those details. I loved what you said about the paws and how he paddled with his paws and stuff. It's just really very detailed and evocative. Well done. Good one. Good one. Okay.
Thank you.
I think that you need to find an illustrator, and then you could turn that into a book. And who knows, maybe Melanie would then be sharing that story in her library in the future. Well done. Very nice.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye. Thank you.
Bye, Michael. So, another newcomer for us today, Parvati, are you there?
Yes, I'm there, very much here.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing. I happen to know this story, but I haven't heard it for a very long time. So I was very keen for you to share it with us tonight. Where are you in India? Which part?
Now I'm in Bangalore. I was in Kerala, that's another state, then to Chennai, and now in Bangalore. And the story I'm going to tell is from Gujarat.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. As you can see from my dress, I'm from India. Parvati here. My name also is sounding very Indian. So here I am. And the story which I'm going to tell you is from a state in Gujarat. It's a very famous old folk tale. I've heard it many times. I've read it also. This time I have taken this story from the animation done by Karadi Tales. So here goes the story. Before that, in Gujarati, when you meet a person, you say, how are you? You say, Kem cho. And I'm fine, they say, Majama. So whenever my hero here says, Kem cho, I want all of you to say, Majama, right?
Majama.
Okay. Now, here goes the story, and here we are going to the state of Gujarat. And there in a village sat Peekubai. Peekubai with little sugar. What was he eating? He was eating tender coconut. And this was his third tender coconut he has been eating. He loved tender coconut. He called his wife, Lakubin, come here, get me one more tender coconut. One more tender coconut. Lakubin came. What? You want one more tender coconut? You think we have a tree here where you can pluck the tender coconuts and you can eat whenever you want? There are no more tender coconuts. You have to go to the market and buy it. What? You mean to say I have to go to the market and buy it? No, 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 no. I have to pay for it, right? Of course you have to pay for it. No, I don't want it. It's your choice. Peekubai, sat under the banyan tree, thinking of coconut, 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 tender coconut. And I need that coconut. I have to eat the coconut. Let me go to the market. Wears his chappals, takes his stick, and walks down to that market. And as he goes to the market, oh, so many things are being sold. But no, Peekubai is going straight. Straight he went, saw that coconut seller. He went there and he said, Kem cho?
Mazama. Majama.
Can you give me a tender coconut? Of course, Kaka, it is for you. Yeah. And he took the biggest one and gave it to him. And he said, how much is it? It's 10 rupees. 10 rupees? Oh, no. Can you give it to me for 5 rupees? The coconut seller took the coconut out. I can't give it to you for 5 rupees. It's 10 rupees. Take it or leave it. But if you really want it, you can go to that market nearly 3 kilometers from here, that big market. You can go there and you may get it for 5 rupees. Not a bad idea. I will go to that big market. Anyway, I've been sitting inside my house, locked down. I'll walk down some exercise for me and I'll go to that market and I may get it for 5 rupees. Good idea. And Peekubai walked towards that big market. Oh, it was a very, very hot day. But he was thinking of his tender coconuts. And he reached that market. Oof, it was bustling. You should see an Indian market. Bustling. People here, people there, calling that, calling this. Mango. I don't want mango. That, this, that. But Peekubai wanted only what? Yes, he wanted his coconut. He looked, there, he spotted that coconut seller. He went there. Kem cho?
Majama.
And he looked at one coconut. He said, how much is this? Kaka, for you, I will give it to you for 5 rupees. It is one of the best tender coconuts. You eat it, you taste it, it will be super. But what? 5 rupees? You know, I have walked all the way from there. You are saying it's 5 rupees? No. I can't give you 5 rupees. Can't you give it 2 rupees? 2 rupees? For that, you have to go to that river, and there is a boatman. He has got a lot of coconut. You can go there. Said this coconut seller. Peekubai thought, yes, let me go to that boatman. And he started walking in the hot sun. Peekubai, walked in the midday sun, thinking of coconut, tender coconut. And he reached that river. That boatman has got so many tender coconuts. He went there and he said, Kem cho?
Majama.
And what, Kaka? What do you want? You want this is the best. I got it from that coconut grove. This is the best. Yes. Even I liked it. Okay, how much is it? 2 rupees, Kaka. What? 2 rupees? I have walked all the way from my house to that market, to that big market, and I've come here in this hot sun. And you are saying it's going to be 2 rupees? Give it to me for 1 rupee. You want it for 1 rupee? Go to that coconut grove there, and there you may get it, maybe. Not a bad idea. And Peekubai walked. He's tired now. So hot.
and panting, he reached there and he saw that basket full of coconuts. Came Cho.
Majama.
And he said, give me one nice tender coconut. Haji, le lo. And he gives one. And before giving, but give me 1 rupee for this. 1 rupee! You, me, I've come all the way. Poor man, don't you have any pity? Can't you give it free for me? Can't you do this? You want free? You want free? Look up. But look up at the tree. Yeah, that's a coconut tree. A long, it's a long tree. Can you see the coconuts there? Yes, I can. That coconut is free. Bring it down. I need 1 rupee, okay? You mean to say? Pourquoi asked. So, the coconut is free? Free. So, I climb up. That's your choice. I can't give anything free for you. And he took the coconut. Seller went away. I'm going to get nice, good coconut. Let me climb. And he started climbing. Peekubai, peekubai. Climbed the coconut tree, thinking of coconut, tender coconut. Yay! And he climbed. He reached there. And he put his leg on one of the branches there. And he looked at this coconut. Yeah, this. By then he saw there's another coconut, tender coconut. Hey, that looks bigger. And then another one behind. And he said, hey, anyway, it's going to be free, right? I can take that one behind. It's big. And he put his hand and got hold of that. What happened? His leg slipped. And now he was dangling with a coconut. Help, help, help. He was dangling from that tall coconut tree. And the man was coming on the camel. He was coming and he heard this help. Help. He looked. And somebody is standing there and what is he doing there? Cem Cho. What? Majama. He said Majama for me. I'm not Majama. Help me. Said Peekubai. And immediately, don't worry, okay, don't worry. And he kept the camel under and he said, I will hold on to your leg and then the camel will help us. It's a tall animal, right? The camel is a very tall animal. And our man got up on that and caught hold of Peekubai's legs. But our camel had different ideas. He looked at that tall, fresh ground. It went to eat the grass. And here, the camel man was also dangling, holding on to Peekubai. And Peeku was holding on to the coconut. Hey, both of them cried. Woo! That time the horseman came. The horseman came and said, don't worry, I'm there to help. And he got onto the horse, held on to that camel man, and the horse had other ideas. It saw that juicy grass down. It went off. All the three of them were dangling now. How were they dangling? The coconut, Peekubai, the camel man, and the horseman. All of them were dangling. Woo! Said the horseman, and he said, hey, Kaka, don't leave that coconut, okay? If he falls, then it's bad. I'll give you 100 rupees. Hold on to it tight. And the camel man said, I'll give you 200 rupees. Hold on to it tight. Peekubai was, 100 rupees, 200 rupees, 300 rupees. That is a big amount. All the three of them fell. Peekubai was in the hospital thinking of coconut, tender. I have to spend 100 rupees in this
That's it.
Lovely, lovely. Yeah, very nice. And everybody's been saying how you took us on the journey, first around India from Chennai to Bangalore and then to Gujarat. And now we're at the different markets with you and your hero as he's trying to find the coconut. Of course, really, he should have just given Melanie a call and said, please send me your monkey. That would have really solved the whole problem, wouldn't it? Lovely. And again, your eyes are just so expressive as you're doing that. You are absolutely, that's a perfect story for you. I think you're really in your element and you brought out the comedy and the drama in the story very, very nicely. Thank you very much indeed.
Thanks for the opportunity. I just forgot to tell. That's what I planned to tell. Thank you for the opportunity, and it all slipped. By the time I started, I forgot. Thanks for this opportunity.
No, you just like the guy, you grabbed hold of not a coconut, but you grabbed hold of the opportunity and you really made it something of it. Thank you so much. Over the past couple of weeks, I'm delighted that Feast has begun to get a toehold into Turkey. We had a couple of Turkish tellers listening in on the last swap. And today, we're actually going to listen to a Turkish teller. Cem, are you there?
Hi, everybody. My name is Cem.
Hi, Cem.
I am from Turkey. I live in Istanbul right now. I just would like to thank to all the storytellers. They were amazing. Parvati, what a nice neck dancing. I just enjoyed this. Okay.
Excellent. Yeah.
So before the crisis, I used to be the general manager of a shopping center investment and management company in Turkey. I was responsible from 7 shopping centers. My duty was basically to tell my visitors stories. They were 40 million yearly. So I trained all my shopping center managers as storytellers.
Wonderful.
And now the shopping centers are closed, and I don't know if I'm going to be back in this business again. But I use a lot of storytelling in the business, and I know that the storytelling will be a part of my life from now on, maybe much more.
Good.
Today I'm going to tell you a story of a Cockerel and the Sultan. So this is a Turkish story. Once upon a time, in the faraway lands of Turkey, lived a greedy Sultan. One day he was traveling in the countryside. He came to a village. He saw there in the distance a cockerel who was holding something shiny in his beak. He just approached and saw that he has a golden coin in his beak. Just he came, said, "Stupid cockerel, give it to me." He just snatched it and said, "I am the Sultan of this land. That belongs to me." He marched off out of the village, through the town, into his palace. So the cockerel was very angry because he found this golden piece while scraping the dirt in the garden, and he wanted to give it to his mistress, who was a sweetheart, lovely, poor old lady. So he wanted to comfort him in the last days of her life. And besides, he did not like being called stupid. He said, "I'm going to follow the Sultan." And he did so. He went out of the village, through the town, and into the palace, and flew up to the palace window and shrieked at the Sultan. "Sultan, give me back my money." Sultan was very angry. He looked straight in the eyes of the cockerel and growled, "Guards, throw him into the royal well." So the guards threw him into the deep well. He landed onto the water, splash. His wings were so wet that he could not fly. He did not like the situation, but he had an idea. Just open his beak and sucked all the water until the well is dry. So were his feathers. Then flew up again to the palace window and shrieked at the Sultan. Give me back my money. Sultan was furious. He just looked at straight in the eyes and said, guards, throw him into the fire. So did the guards. The cockerel did not like the hot fire, but he had then an idea. Just open his beak and spat all the water from his tummy onto the flames. And put them out. So, you know, it's the nice thing out of this online storytelling. If you were sitting right in front of me, I wouldn't do this because of the virus. Anyway, it just flew up to the palace window through the ashes and screamed at the Sultan. Give me back my money. So Sultan, now the steam's coming from the ears of the Sultan like this. Just growl. Guards, put him into the beehives. So did the guards. And you know who lives in the beehives? Butterflies. Who said this wrong? I don't. Okay, it's bees. Now the cockerel thought they might make a good snack. Just started to pick up bees. 1, 5, 10, delicious, yummy. 500, 1,000, 5,000. And just swallowed all the bees and flew up to the palace window. Give me back my money. Now, Sultan was angry. He did not know where to put him next. And with desperation, he just grabbed the cockerel by the neck and just threw him into his silk pantaloons. The cockerel did not like being in the Sultan's trousers, but then he had an idea. Just opened his beak and began spitting all the bees into the Sultan's pantaloons. Now the bees are trapped in the Sultan's pantaloons and they became angry. And you know what they do when they are angry? Yes. They stung the Sultan, and the Sultan started to hop and skip from one foot to the other one, one foot to the other one, started to dance and run. Then, so it was so funny that even the guards were laughing at him by turning their heads. Finally, Sultan said, "Cockerel, you win. I will give back to you the money." So Cockerel took the golden coin in his beak and proudly set off for his village. When he's back, he just handed the golden coin to his mistress, who was overjoyed and said, "Thank you, Cockerel. From now on, we may live in comfort together." This is the end of the story.
Oh, I like that very much, very much. Okay, it's a great story, and just several people have been commenting, Cem, on the way that you use the puppet. Yes, I particularly like your struggles to get it down your trousers. I thought that worked very, very well indeed. And yeah, thank you very much for sharing that that story. As you say, you certainly couldn't come and spit all over us in reality, but online, I thought that was one of the highlight moments when you were just spluttering and sputtering right into the camera there. We've been blessed tonight with several of you have really used the camera really well as to enhance the telling and to bring out particular moments. And I hope that I'm sure all of us who are watching are kind of going, oh yeah, I must explore that further in our own telling to see how we can develop this relationship. So we're doing very well, and I'm going to squeeze in, because the telling has been so good, at least one more story. And Shalini, who is also here in Singapore, has a story, and for totally biased personal reasons, I'm very keen that she can share it. Hi, Shalini.
Yes, Roger.
I think this comes from a very good book, I gather, the story that you're going to tell.
It does. Would you like me to show the book?
Oh, yes, of course. Okay,
This is my book. This is my source. And I mean, you wouldn't recognize the person at the back, of course, you know. I mean, total stranger. Yes, total stranger. And I found this book somewhere. And I've been looking at it and reading, flipping through it during this time, this time of our circuit breaker. And so I've visited this story again. I've told it to, I told 2 stories this week, actually, to a group of 8 and 9-year-olds. And the vote is for this story that I'm going to tell you now. And that's why, Roger, I changed the story since I was on standby. Okay. Here we go. There was a comment that today's stories are so much about food. And I'm sorry, it is. My story is called Umbrellas and Noodles. Okay, so here we go. Once there was a lady, and her name was Mrs. Chan. Mrs. Chan was a sweet old lady, a widow, with 2 grown-up daughters, both happily married, both settled, and even better than that, they were settled in the same town as she was. So she didn't have to go far to visit them. If she wanted to visit one, she'd just take a taxi ride or bus ride down this way to the north. And if she wanted to visit the other, well, then there's a taxi ride or a bus ride to the south. And there she was at her daughter's. Now, her daughters were named Paula and Pauline. Paula was married to a noodle seller, and Pauline was married to an umbrella seller. Now, Paula's husband not only sold the noodles, he made the noodles too. So she and her husband were both busy making noodles every day and selling them fresh. And Pauline, who was married to the umbrella seller, well, her husband wasn't far behind. He made those umbrellas by hand. And so she, Pauline, and her husband were busy every day making umbrellas. So everybody, all her neighbors would go to Mrs. Chan and say, oh, Mrs. Chan, you're so lucky. Umbrellas, noodles, and both in the same town. Aren't you so lucky? Well, not really. Poor Mrs. Chan. She wasn't really happy. Not at all, actually. Because, well, this is why. When it rained, she worried about Paula. So, oh, my dear Paula, she and her husband, they make noodles. How are you going to dry noodles in this rain? How are they going to do it? All those fresh noodles need the sun, need heat. And then this wet, damp. Oh no, she was so sad. So you'd think that when it was sunny, she'd be really happy, right? But no, when it was sunny, she cried about Pauline. Oh, my poor Pauline. Who will buy an umbrella from her now? Huh? It isn't raining, it's hot. Maybe people will go out, maybe not. The last thing they'll want to buy is an umbrella. Oh, my poor Pauline. How can they make any money today? And it was cloudy. Oh my God. She'd worry about both. Oh, Paula and Pauline. Oh, both of them at home. Basically, she was never happy. She was always whining about something or the other. So much so that everybody in her neighborhood started to call her the crying lady. And whenever they saw her coming by, they said, oh, okay. What's the weather like today? Oh, never mind. I think whatever it is, let's just go inside. We don't want to hear about her trials today. So the poor woman had to just share her whines and wails to herself. Now one day, she was out on her way to the market, and she passed by a temple. And that day, she was feeling rather troubled because it was a cloudy day. And so she went into the temple and she sat in front of the deities and she said, oh, she got some joss sticks and she went, oh, please do something for my daughters. Oh, please do something for my daughters. Oh, how are they going to be my Paula and my Pauline? Now, as she was praying, there was a monk, a young monk, who had just joined the temple. And he saw her there, looking so sad, looking so fervent. And he decided to approach her. And when he approached her, he was very gentle. She had finished her prayer and she was just walking out and said, hello, auntie, how are you? And Mrs. Chan, she didn't want to be rude. You know, he was dressed as a monk. She knew he was the monk. She never met him before, rather young. But, well, yes, I'm fine. And the monk was like, really? Well, I couldn't help but notice that you were quite troubled, actually, when you were praying. Would you like to tell me what happened? Now, Mrs. Chan had never had anyone ask her that question. And so she was very, very eager to tell him. And she started, you know, my Paula and my Pauline, and then, you know, the rain, and then the sun. And she told him everything that had been pent up in her. And the young monk listened patiently. When she had finished, he said to her with a quiet smile, you know, auntie, you're right. Sometimes it is a bit difficult, isn't it, with all these things happening? But what about this? You know, when it's hot, it's really hot, maybe you should think about Paula, the noodle seller. How her noodles will be drying so quickly in the sun, how she can make more and more noodles, and she can sell more and more noodles, and she'll make a lot of money that day. And how on that day when it's sunny, Pauline, who must have been working so hard before that, can take a rest. She and her husband can take that time to take a break and maybe make more umbrellas, keep stock for sale. And maybe when it's raining, you can think about Pauline and her husband so happily selling umbrellas. I mean, I tell you, you know, if all these people are anything like me, I leave my umbrella everywhere I go. I go to my neighbor's house, I leave my umbrella. If I leave, I don't take my umbrella from the temple, I'm stuck. I have to buy a new umbrella. So on a rainy day, why don't you think of Pauline selling all those lovely umbrellas? And for Paula, well, on a rainy day, she and her husband maybe can knead more dough for their noodles, and then the next day they'll be saved that trouble. They can quickly just make the noodles and dry them. Right? Don't you think so? And maybe on a cloudy day, well, cloudy day, both of them can rest, make some stuff, and spend time together with their families. They won't be so busy. Quiet time. Now, with every word the monk said, Mrs. Chan's face went, oh, well, she'd never really thought of that, actually. It never really occurred to her to think of it in that way. And she looked at the young monk and said, you know, I've never really thought about it that way. Young, but you're wise. And as she walked out of the temple, thinking to herself, pondering over the words of that monk, she grew happier. She started to smile, actually. And she smiled, and she smiled some more. And she walked down all the way home, smiling. And, you know, from that day on, whenever it rained, she did not think of Paula. She thought of Pauline, and she smiled. And it was hot. She thought about Paula, not Pauline, and she smiled. And it was cloudy. She smiled even bigger because she thought both my lovely darlings are having a great rest day. And so from then on, nobody ever avoided her, because from then on, she was known as the Smiling Lady. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for the chance to tell you a story and share it with you. Thank you.
And Shalini, you're our smiling lady there at the end. Thank you very much indeed for sharing that story. As somebody said, several people have said, really, it's a very appropriate story to be sharing at this time and encouraging, reminding us to look on the positive side of things. And surely, yes, because we wouldn't be doing this every month. We normally, previously, we've just had our story swaps once a quarter, but because of the lockdown, we realized that there was an opportunity here, and we've been doing it now every month. And who knows, this may well continue. Once we've done that, we will continue to have these sessions on a monthly basis. So there are definitely upsides to the situation, and it's really all about what's up here and how we view it, isn't it? Somebody, I really like Renu said, people have been commenting about how many stories have been about food, and she said, no wonder it's called Feast. And I think, yes, absolutely, absolutely. So can we please give a big hand to all the people who have shared the stories today? Excellent, excellent stories, really enjoyed them. Stay in touch, please.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Supporting Feast, we really
Thank you.
be glad to have you here as a member, whether it's a professional or as a community member. We'd be delighted to have you with us on a regular basis. Until we meet again, bye-bye now.
Bye. Thanks, Sheila. Thanks, Roger.
Bye.
Thanks, Jiva. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you, Sheila. Thank you,
Thank you,
Sir
everyone.
Roger.
Much.
Bye, Jiva. Bye, Jiva.
Bye.
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 Roger, and bye, Sheila. Thank